Hey guys, Operator Drewski here, and today we're going to be talking about Ghost Recon Wildlands PvP. So a lot of you might have not known that PvP was coming to Ghost Recon Wildlands, but it's kind of been hinted by the devs, or it came out of a leak or something a few months back, I think near the closed beta, where PvP was mentioned that it would eventually come to Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now yesterday it was officially announced from a Ubisoft video that PvP would be coming to Ghost Recon Wildlands, and it's going to be coming in a free update. So basically they're still working on it, and they're going to release it after the full game releases. So we'll have a lot of time to do all the normal standard as advertised PvE stuff where you go through the open world and attack AI bots and such, but then later on we'll unlock the multiplayer game mode, which is going to be interesting in my opinion. Just because I heard about this news, I wanted to go back and see what Future Soldier PvP was like, which is the last Ghost Recon game, the closest to this Recon game, or this Ghost Recon game that you can get, was playing Ghost Recon Future Soldier. And on PC, because of its terrible compatibility with Windows 10, because it is an older game from like 2012 or 11 or something, I went back on my Xbox 360 and played it this morning. And it's still populated. I was actually surprised it is still populated. There were still people playing, and I had a blast. I honestly had a really good time, and I got to remember all the different classes, the engineer, the rifleman, the scout, and all of the weapons and gadgets that they could have. It's an interesting game. If you haven't seen Future Soldier, I would recommend going and watching some gameplay of it to see what PvP is like in a Ghost Recon game, because it's been pretty, I guess, similar throughout the past few games, Advanced Warfighter and Future Soldier and now Wildlands. I feel like Wildlands is going to kind of be similar to it, especially when the guys' names of the multiplayer game mode we're seeing here are named of what the squad was in Future Soldier, like Kozak and like Pepper, and I don't know what the other two were named, but I just noticed that. I was like, whoa, hey, that's the same names as we used to have in Future Soldier. That was pretty interesting, and it gave a good you know, kickback to Future Soldier, and I think that's a good sign. I think the Ghost Recon Wildlands team is remembering what Future Soldier was all about, and Future Soldier's multiplayer, if you didn't know, was just really, really good. Now, the game wasn't as popular as other first-person shooters at the time, so the population wasn't ever as high, but still, it holds a really good core mechanic, which is all these objective-based game modes that kills don't really matter much, kind of like how Battlefield works, where capping objectives and being a good medic will get you to the top of the scoreboard much faster than just trying to get kills as a sniper. Basically, it's like that, where objectives matter a lot. You know, helping your team out is a big XP boost and I guess score boost and stuff, and the team with basically the most teamwork wins at the end of the round. And I do like that type of gameplay. I do like that team-based type of gameplay, and I think that this might be a very, very competitive game if done right. I think that this could be not really maybe the scale of a Rainbow Six Siege type of game where it comes out first, people start getting good at it, and then people start getting really good at it, and then people start developing all these different tactics and stuff. I'm not really sure if that will exactly happen with Ghost Recon Wildlands, but I'm sure that people will get competitive with this game. And if there's some type of, let's say, server browser system where you can, you know, let's say hook on to another team and you're not just a random selected team fighting against you, if you can actually match other specific teams, I think that this game could get extremely competitive and extremely fun to play on PvP modes. Basically, in the footage of what we see here, we see guys running into this objective, spawning out into a forest, and I think the objective area is more of like a compound. I think the basic like fighting area is a compound with a lot of forest around it, and there is an intel marker inside, as well as the enemies are being marked quite often in this footage. And there was only 30 seconds, so we're going off of, you know, bare crumbs off of a big piece of toast right now, but there is like a lot of enemy marks, and I'm wondering if there is a lot of intelligence type options within these game modes now where you can capture intel or something, and then it marks the enemy positions on your 3D heads-up display, which might be a thing, might not. I'm just kind of hypothesizing. In Future Soldier, for example, if you were to tase or disable a enemy soldier, you could then hack them. Hacking was one of the biggest turnarounds in Future Soldier games, where if you got hacked, if your team was hacked, your positions were live to the enemy team for like a good 30 seconds. It was like Cav in Rainbow Six Siege, but 10 times as powerful and half as hard. Half as hard to do. It was a very, very interesting mechanic, and if we have something like that in Wildlands, where we have that creativity, we have those different mechanics that aren't really in other games, then I'm excited for it. I'm really excited to see what type of gadgets, what type of customization you can have in Wildlands PvP. Talking about customization, what my idea is where is the progression going to come in? Every game has to have some sort of progression, and there might be some skill trees, but overall, a lot of people just like to customize their appearance and their guns. Basically, what Ghost Recon Wildlands does from the start is allows you to customize your experience or your appearance almost all the way. I do think that PvP should have some types of appearance progression as well, where you get some cool new vests or something, or some cool helmets and headgear if you complete certain levels of PvP. For example, in Ghost Recon Future Soldier, as a recon, an engineer, or a rifleman, there were actually different little trees of I guess, appearances that you could go through with every single class. Like, for example, the engineer had a helmet that you would unlock at level 10 for the engineer, a level 20 helmet, a level 40 helmet. The scout had like these different types of headgear, and then he finally got a hood if you ever got to like level 40 on your scout or something. And so it ended up being a good progression system where your appearance kind of showed how experienced you were with that specific class, and I kind of liked that. Now with Ghost Recon Wildlands, what's different about this is that weapons in PvP, do they carry over from the PvE game mode? Do they carry over from the open world, which they probably will? If so, how do you create progression in a PvP type of game mode? How do you keep the player playing the person versus person type of game mode if they can just unlock all the guns and skills in the person versus environment type of game mode? That's my one thing that I'm kind of interested about. I'm not really exactly worried about it, but I think that they're going to have some type of really, I guess, inviting and interesting progression system for players to want to keep playing the person versus person game modes, because basically at the moment you can go to any part of the map at any point in time and find any gun you want. I think that as long as you have like the intel unlocked or whatever, it unlocks all the weapons within that region. And because we already know the weapons for every single region in the game, if you want a specific weapon, you can go grab it. It's not too hard. There's no progression. It's more just like collect them all. It's kind of like saying, you know, there's a Pikachu here, but there's also a Dialga across the mountain. Would you just like to go across that mountain and grab that Dialga, or would you like to get the Pikachu? And which one in person versus person game modes would you like to play with, the Pikachu or the gigantic Pokemon that will crush you with its feet? You know, it's something like that. It's something as basic as that, where hopefully they add some type of progression that's maybe just appearance, but also some type of statistical progressions as well. For example, skills or gadgets or something, or maybe, you know, tactical 4v4 PvP is going to be an entirely different type of game than Ghost Recon Wildlands, where they have actual progression of weapons in multiplayer. I think personally that multiplayer progression in terms of weapons should be absolutely different than the in-game I guess, progression of weapons. I think that it'd be cool to carry over weapons as well, but I do think that, you know, having a progression tree of different SMGs that you can unlock if you use SMGs a lot, or sniper rifles or things like that, should be definitely a thing in a PvP type of game mode, because players might not just be only interested in the progression of their appearance, but they might also want some cool guns later on. And I think that if you want to unlock a certain gun, you go with the Call of Duty style of like progression, where you have all the different levels that you have to unlock before you get a certain awesome gun that everybody's been talking about. You know, something like that is something that will keep the player grinding through PvP rounds trying to unlock a certain rifle. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the kind of news update and kind of speculation about what might happen in the Ghost Recon PvP. I'm really excited for this to come out, because I thought originally that Ghost Recon would not have PvP, but it does now. I'm really excited that it's coming out. Hopefully it comes out soon after the release of the actual game, because I'm super hyped to play it. And hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.